Hi, everyone. I'm Beth, and this is All Booked Up. Tonight we have the absolutely fascinating Janelle Lasalle and her alter ego of Lilith. So this is going to be so much fun. Janelle, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, Beth. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, guys. I'm Janelle Lasalle. I am an author, artist, witch, scientist, creative person based in LA. And the author of Holy Fucking Shit.
That's a fabulous title. I absolutely adore that title.
Thank you, doll. I'm proud of it.
So, how did you come up with that title?
So, the novel's premise is based on the very true events that have happened to me over the past few years, which is I have spent my whole life working essentially as a science writer, a medical writer, someone that works with data and, science, evidence. But there was always this foreboding of things outside of science, phenomena we can't quite explain with science yet. And so even though I was raised a scientist, I was a witch since I was young, and I just had the sense to not tell anyone about that because most of us don't. We know there's a stigma that term carries. So one day in 2021, I had proof beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond even a tiniest bit of doubt. I got very direct proof magic is real. And so the title is every time I can think about the events that have happened since then, all I can think is holy fucking shit.
But I guess that if that happened to me, I think I'd be saying the same thing.
I think so. I don't know.
So, you want to share what your boom moment was?
I would love to, and I'm not trying to play like a clever game, but I can't.
Oh, okay.
So I will share what I can.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say. So once upon a time, when I was a little girl, my daddy did a bad thing, and he kidnapped an important person, a very important person from a household name everybody we would all know. That's part of why I had to self-publish this book. The legalities of this story are kind of complicated. So my daddy kidnapped somebody, and the New York Times wrote about it, and it was a big deal. He let the guy back. He was safe. Nobody got hurt. But my dad, in prison, he's a wizard, but not the fun kind, not the Harry Potter kind, the black magic kind. So he was really lonely one day, and he was like, I need a companion. So he summoned Lilith the demon. And that began a curse that was passed down through my family. So my entire life, I felt the presence of Lilith. And then that day in 2021, when I realized magic was real, I asked Lilith for something. I asked her for something so personal and strange. I thought this could never in a million years. My dad's been in jail since I was 1.5 years old. He's been in jail for over 30 years now. That same day, something happened that released my dad from jail. You would read the book and you'll find out.
Okay, but see, I do know this because I've read the book, but apparently we're not doing spoilers. So I suggest everybody get the book because I'll tell you what, it is interesting and it will keep your attention on every page. I was like, no way. And then I keep going, oh my God. It was just, pretty much holy fucking shit on every page.
Yeah, like to the point of I want to talk to people and tell them about it. But, when I first talked to publishers about this book, a lot of them were just like, legally, you are putting yourself in a dicey position to say the things you're saying. So be very careful about. It's very strange that the stigma of witch is still, you would never imagine that someone's going to get arrested for saying, hey, I'm a witch. I do witchy things. I do magic. But based on the conversations I've had with lawyers and publishers, apparently that's still kind of a real stigma somehow.
Well, in this century and this country, it should not be. I mean, aren't we supposed to be, hang on, having a brain freeze here, religious freedom in this country?
Right.
Yes, I knew I'd get it out sooner or later.
Doesn't everybody get the religious freedom part, or is it only, the good Christians or Muslims or Jews or?
And, the last I saw, atheists were, no, it was Satanists were giving out coloring books in the elementary schools even. So I'm pretty sure that witches should be able to do their thing.
Yeah, we just want people to be happy. Isn't that the goal of every religion, really, is to find some kind of happiness?
And most witches that I have had personal contact with really are just a very nice group of people. They have no ill will towards anyone.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look, a lot of the history of magic, when we trace it backwards, goes to this idea of, unless you absolutely have to, by nature, most people want to be loving and kind and sweet and good to each other. So magic, a lot of this baneful magic, black magic, all this bad magic, this comes from when women, more often than not, are trapped in positions in society where they can't escape, and they've got their back to a wall and they have to find a way to survive. And so that's how these things come to be, against all intolerance.
Absolutely. I hear you on that one, and it seems that most of the time it's women.
We got a lot to give.
Yes, and even more to lose.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Lilith, right? Lilith, for those who don't know, she was supposed to be Adam's first wife, and she's now reputed to be a demon. And I have gone through. Lilith is one of the most categorically written about characters in folk mythology, in Christian traditions, in Jewish traditions, in Muslim traditions. She's mentioned all across the board. And all I've ever been able to find on what makes her a demon, what did she do that was so bad that made her a big, bad, scary demon?
She wanted to be on top.
Yeah. She told Adam, when he said, lay with me, she said, cool, can I be on top? I would enjoy that. That would be, and he said, no, this isn't about you.
And then what does she get for her babies get to die?
Yeah. So because Lilith says, I would like something for me, for pleasure, that is vilified from the dawn of time. And actually the term harpy and screech owl come back to Lilith and Lilitus, the character of, if you are a woman and you say something I don't like as a man, I am going to call you a demon. I'm going to call you a villain. I'm going to demonize you in all the stories I can to really not incentivize you to be that nasty kind of witch.
I need to keep my mouth shut. See, I study all this stuff for my occult books, so I know whereof you speak, I guess. Just like the lullaby comes from Lilith. The mothers would sing a lullaby to keep Lilith away from their children.
I love that you mentioned that, because they've uncovered bowls, song bowls that have Lilith drawn on them and her name. And historians have actually found like instances where it says in the mythology that if you wrote her name and you sang these songs and you created art about her, she would spare your children.
Yeah, she was supposed to be so bad. But why was she bad? Because she was punished for something so silly. So absolutely silly.
What makes her bad, and she's a demon. And I think it's really, really strange that like this character that's so prolific, like look at the Diablo Lilith, look at what she looks like. And again, it's like, why she didn't do anything. Huh. It must be really bad to want things as a woman. That's the message I'm getting.
Nina has a whole line of questions.
All right, let's go, Nina.
So let's see. First one is, do you have any quirky writing habits?
You know, a lot of my heroes were journalists like Hunter S. Thompson, and I cannot speak to anyone else's writing process, but there were definitely portions of this book where I had to be very sober and looking up data and research, and there's a lot of research. And then there are portions of the book that are just poetry, and they're written from the most raw place. And in order to get to that really raw place, because it was so violent, to even access it, a lot of the times I would have to take magic mushrooms and just sit somewhere out in nature and just kind of wait for the mushrooms to hold my hand before I could go there again.
Well, I think we could count that as quirky.
Who knows? Authors like their psychedelics.
Authors have some really strange quirks when it comes to writing. I'll tell you what, some of the things I have heard, I've been like, okay, then. Some I'm not even going to mention in public.
Oh boy, you got good stories.
You'd be surprised what I hear on this show. And let's see. What's your favorite place to write?
In any woods, late at night, 3 a.m. I like it when it's really quiet and on wet grass. That's perfect.
See, I'm a night writer too. I wish I could get out to do it. I spent most of my childhood on my grandparents' farm.
Whoa.
And I loved it. I am such an outdoor girl, and living in the city now drives me nuts. And this isn't even a city. I'm just in a little podunk town, but it's still too city for me. I'm a country girl. So yeah, I miss sitting outside. A lot of time I will go out on my balcony.
Mm-hmm. I have a balcony. I get
because you. I need that. I just need the outside. I need the dark and the smell of the air at night.
It's a writer ingredient, you know.
It is.
I don't know why. It's just
you got to have it. You do. And the bats, even the bats flying by at night. Okay. Now if one came at me, I'd squeal like a girl. But
they're cute. They don't mean you know
seeing them fly by. It takes me back to childhood. I don't know why, but it does, and I love it.
Childhood.
Oh well, it was a great childhood. I miss it. I mean, I don't think we wore shoes for all summer long, and
whoa.
You know, we played in the woods and we were in the creek, and it was just the way it was supposed to be when you're kids.
That's perfect.
Now it's like trying to get my kids out the door. You have to take phones and shove them. Oh, it drives me crazy. Podunk Ephrata. Yes, Carrie. Podunk Ephrata. That is where I live. Carrie is from the area, and she knows it's not.
The struggle is real.
Yes, it is. My. Nina wants to know, it is so dark in my room tonight. We must be expecting rain, and I didn't know it. Do you have a daily word count?
Ooh.
Or on your next project?
Good question. Again, I don't know how other writers, maybe they're more disciplined than me. I write kind of by the seat of inspiration. So with Holy Fucking Shit, this is 428 pages. It was written in 3 weeks.
Wow, you go, girl.
There's a tendon in my hand that did not used to be there. I don't know if you can tell. It's not very pretty, but it popped out. I'm not playing. By week 3, I just sat down every day and I typed as much as I could until the book was done. So I think that's probably my writing style. I have no idea what that translates to properly in terms of word count or patience.
Did it come out the way you were expecting it to when you started?
I had no expectation, actually. I had to write it because it was in my head, and it was like a mystery, right? Like, so much of what happened was very strange and unexplainable. And as a scientist, I was obsessed with trying to piece it together. And then when the final bits fell in and it all made sense, I just, dumb, like, I have to write this down. I don't know why. The most strange, cliches of a lot of horror stories starts off with like someone in the mental asylum. They're just like, if you'd have seen what I'd have seen. I guess it goes back to, the evolutionary mechanism of like, what do you have to do to survive and keep going and evolving? And for me, this was like, I purged it. Like I had to just sit down and like, okay, I'm going to let it. And there were actually a lot of times while I was writing it that I would just get down on all fours and scream like a straight up wolf because it was painful and horrible.
What was the hardest part? I mean, it all had to be hard, obviously, because as a writer myself, I know you relive it.
Oh, yeah.
I write a lot of dark poetry, and I know poetry is very emotional, and I know you relive those feelings when you put them down on paper or on the computer. So out of the whole thing, which is very emotional from, first page to last page, but which particular part really just tore your guts out?
Yeah, that is a wonderful question and very astute. You do go there when you rewrite it and when you relive it. It's very bizarre. You are suddenly transported. So for me, the book, a lot of it is this female rage story, right? It's a story of a scientist who was a good wife to somebody as much as she could. She was a loving, good person. And then one day, my partner of a decade, of 10 years of my life, like that's 1/3 of my life, didn't come home. And not just did they not come home, they robbed me of everything. And they left me a tiny note, don't follow me, don't come back, don't look for me. So it's so bizarre because a lot of people, when they talk to me about working with magic, they're like, aren't you scared of working with demons? Aren't you afraid they're going to do something bad to you? And every time I have someone ask that question, all I can think is like, no, actually, the cruelest cruelty I've ever experienced in my life is at the hands of other human beings when we lose empathy, when we don't demonstrate empathy for other people. So for me, having to think back on that moment of, wow, there was a moment in my life where someone had absolutely no empathy whatsoever. That really scares me. That horrifies me because I don't know how to accept or understand it.
That was perfectly said. It was. I mean, yes.
It's not like a train wreck coming out, but thank you.
The worst you can suffer is at the hands of another human being. I truly believe that. Nobody else can hurt you in the same way another human being can.
Absolutely.
And they can do it with absolutely no conscience and just walk away and feel fine about doing it.
With impunity. When my daddy got out of jail, I asked him the first thing out of my mouth, do you feel bad for what you did to that man? What do you think he said, hon?
No.
Absolutely not. He didn't give a fuck. He looked at me and was like, I've already had to answer that question. I've accounted for my time. I'm past that. Arthur, my ex who walked out on me, not a consequence to what he did. Nothing. With total impunity, he destroyed someone's life. And like a typical man, he just said, so what? To this day, I haven't spoken to him, heard from him, nothing. Just like that.
And after all he did to you? Oh, Lord.
The curse is getting to him. So this book is a curse. It's a functional curse. What I've been doing as a researcher for the last few years, I've researched ancient curse practices going back thousands of years across multiple cultures, Greek, Roman, Arab, Christian, and I figured out how to curse someone, and this is part of that. So you can get back at someone without having to even lay a finger on them.
So you got your retribution.
Trust me, I know I got it. I've had feedback to the effect of I know it's happening and working. So I'm very thrilled.
So instead of, cutting his little winky off, you got it in
Yeah,
other ways.
Marina, you know, why have to go through all the trouble of press and jail and the police when you can just let nature do the work and the heavy lifting for you?
There you go.
It's much stronger than I am. Justice doesn't need my help. I just asked it for a favor.
Hey, that works out better in the end, you know? None of that messy.
Yeah,
Messy.
Too messy.
Ugh. Who wants to deal with being on the news and, you know, having to get put in prison?
But that's not the kind of media I want to be in.
There you go. I'd rather get the press where I, you know, can bling it up and.
On the good side.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. So yeah, when I got to the end of the book, I was like, okay, this rocks. I love how she ended this book. This was the best ending I think I have ever read.
Oh my God, thank you. That makes me so happy.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Of the convention with so many demonic stories, the end is suicide or just tragic destruction. Again, it's feeding us this narrative of, if you especially are a woman, and there's chastity is always involved in this. If you are a woman and you have sex, we all know the first people in a slasher to die are the sluts and the whores.
Oh, always, yeah.
Things are embedded. So if you're a woman seeking pleasure, bad, you will have a bad ending, and horror drills that into us. So I was really sick and tired of seeing the demonic possession trend end with, and then they kill themselves.
Yes.
Actually, what if we introduce this crazy, weird idea where it might be to somebody's benefit? Maybe there's some sort of symbiosis that's possible between nature and humans in a way that hadn't occurred to us previously.
Well, I'll tell you what, I loved it. I did. I got off on it. I was like, she totally rocked this ending. It was fabulous.
Thank you.
And now, is this available on Amazon now?
Yeah. You can get this anywhere that Ingram serves. So it's on Barnes & Noble. It's on Amazon Kindle. It's on Apple Books. You can get it just about anywhere.
Okay, because I got my copy free.
Yeah.
But I would like to go get it on Amazon so I can leave a review because it was fabulous. It really was. And after the show, please go to my Facebook page and put your links up so everybody can find it.
Okay.
And hopefully, you know, you can get some sales because, like I said, it was fabulous and such an unexpected, cool ending. Yeah, I'm going to recommend this to everybody that I know that loves horror because it was like, wow, this is so freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love my readers. I thought about y'all, okay? Like, if you invest more time into something, you want to pay off. And the best payoff of the story is it's fucking true and it's real. It finally has a, hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, I thought, how do I ask her this without sounding like a goober? If this is real or not?
It's real. It's just called, like I said, I tried to sell the story before, and I had multiple publishers and websites and editors tell me that this isn't real and we don't believe you. So,
no, I honestly believe, that I totally believe it. It's so out there. It has to be true. You know what I mean?
Nobody can't make this up. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody can make that shit up. It's impossible.
I wish.
Yeah, it's better than any horror movie I've ever seen. Which, you know, okay, 5 friends from college. You know, oh please, how many times can we do? How many times can
the forever and ever?
Yes, the 5 friends from college is like, can you make another movie, please? This is the same movie 6 million times. Could we please get something else?
To create new things, and they just keep ripping on old IPs, and that's another thing. This book, from the moment I started telling people about it, everyone kept saying, like, you have to make that a movie. That is insane. Like, that has to become a movie. So it will get there.
Well, good luck. I hope you do, because it's something I would watch. And nowadays we either have the 5 friends from college or remakes of of the old good movies that they are really just making bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Bring in something new.
We do, and the indie community brings out a lot of original stuff, and I wish they would start looking there for some, the big movie
I think we're
makers
shifting
would
there.
start looking there.
We're shifting there.
I think so too, and as also as readers are starting to go there as well too, instead of the big publishing houses, because they're starting to realize that, say, Nora Roberts books are basically the same thing, with different names, and on a different dude ranch each time, or wherever. You can only switch around characters and places so many times
Exactly.
until it gets very boring. And yeah, things need to expand. You need to.
I like to shake it up. I like to go in, agitate things.
Yeah, breathe new life into things, because everything's just getting so old and stale, and it's been done and done and redone. And you have created something so original that it blew my mind. It really did. I was like, okay. I first started reading and I thought, where's she going to go with this? And then I was like, okay. And then I was like, whoa. I mean, I just went through all these different, twisty, turny. Oh, and it really, it was the most original book I have read in years, to be quite honest. I mean, I have read other things that were original, but this one topped them. I'm giving you that. I'm
turning as red as my hair over here. I'm yours, like. Woo!
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you on the show, and it was a fabulous book.
Thank you.
It really was. You created something sensational, and you should be very proud of your work, and you should be very proud that you survived everything in that book.
Woo! Yes. I celebrate every day now. I'm like, wow, I'm alive.
Girl, you were through the ringer, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, but I won't die. I'm real stubborn like that. My magical familiar is a king snake. I have a snake. I have two snakes. And Jack, my familiar. A king snake is very special because they will eat any other snake you put near them.
Ooh.
Yes. That's my familiar. Like, no hesitation to survive no matter what. Very Slytherin.
I have 5 sons, and they just try and eat each other.
Oh my God.
What'd you do with my new sneakers? Yeah. That's my life.
Lord, that's plenty.
Oh, shoot. I thought I had WWE going in my house for like forever, 30 years, It was.
You must have tough forearms.
Oh, they're a mess, but I only have one left in the house now, so. And now that was some survival skills right there, let me tell you.
Oh, I don't know.
But I gotta say, I loved every minute of it. I did, and now I have grandbabies I get to play with, so they're fun. That's the fun part. You have to survive the horrifying little monstrous children to get to the fun grandbabies. And I just found out I'm going to be a grandma again, so I'm all, woo! Yay, I know, right? I said to my husband the other night, it's been 3 years since I've changed a diaper. And he was like, why do you sound sad about that?
Yeah, right?
I was like, I need a baby. And then the very next night, one of my sons calls and says, guess what? We're having a baby. And I was like,
you did that. You did that. I was going to say, that's magic on you.
It was. That's what I said. I said, I said that. I brought that to myself. I willed that to happen.
It happens.
It does. I believe that. I do. And now I just got to, they want to name it Genesis if it's a boy. And I was like, you can't do that. It's going to remind me of Phil Collins and the band. And every time I look at my grandbaby, I'll be thinking of this little bald-headed nerd man in a band I couldn't stand. You cannot name that baby Genesis. So, yeah, I'm really hoping they don't do that.
Lots of that kid.
But, and yeah, I was, at least they're not going to name it Lemmy, because if I had to see, picture Lemmy, that would be even worse.
Nah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. Who knows what we'll come up with? Oh shit! At least my daughter-in-law to be is very goth, so I'm sure she'll come up with something appropriately. Cool. So hopefully she picks the name. So anyway, back to the book. I always sidetrack. I gotta stop that.
Nah, we're in a goth mood.
Yes, we went from holy fucking shit to having babies. There's a spin.
Lilith and babies, right?
Yeah, only on this show. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Well, we did our time. So I need to say thank you for being on the show, hon. And like I said, I loved your book. It was fabulous. And I'm going to keep you on after we're done so I can talk to you for a little bit.
Okay.
I've totally lost track of what I'm talking about. Oh, tune in Wednesday when we have L.E. Martin on the show. And I just love you too, Nina. I couldn't do this show without my Nina. She keeps me going because I'm trying to do 6,000. There's a little knit bug somehow got in here and I keep waving at it. She keeps me going. And I have way too much to do these days.
Thank you for doing what you do and shining the light on all the good work.
Oh, well, no, hey, I love to do it. There's so many good authors out there, and I love to see them, come to the forefront and let the world know about them. And just like you, thank you for being here because you are lovely.
Aww.
And yeah, I've had a great time with you tonight. So we're going to say bye-bye, everybody. Mwah. Love you all.
Bye,
and don't forget to look on my page and check out Janelle's book. And we'll see you Wednesday. Bye.